Hi everyone, welcome to the XD Daily Creative Challenge. Again, as always, I'm so excited to be here live in the Adobe Studios and to be your host. So today is day number 2. Is everyone ready? Hi everyone in the chat. Hi Ash, Jerry, Antonio, Alexander. Hi everyone, Van Dam. Nice to see you guys again. All right, so I'm just gonna go over what the XD Daily Creative Challenge is in case you're just tuning in, and also just tell you the different ways that you can participate. So first and foremost, the XD Daily Creative Challenge is just a really great way for you to practice your UI design and prototyping skills in Adobe XD. So, if you're a beginner, maybe you know your way around Adobe XD, but you just want some more practice, or maybe you just want to pick it up as a hobby. Whatever the case, this is just a really great way for you to practice and to also add some really great pieces to your portfolio. So in addition to tuning into the show every day, we also have a Slack channel that you can join. So if you go to this URL above me, I'm just going to show you quickly around our Slack channel. So every day at 8 a.m. Pacific time, if you go to the announcement channel, we post the Daily Creative Challenge and also a downloadable XD file that you can download so you can just get a head start in designing. We also have a design feedback channel, so everyone is super helpful and you'll get valuable feedback. So if you want some feedback, be sure to post it in the design feedback channel. And also under the Help General channel, if you have maybe a more technical question, definitely post it here. And of course, when you first join, you definitely want to introduce yourself. So tell us your name and where you're from. It's always really cool to know where everyone is from. Yeah, so that's just an overview of our Slack channel. In addition to that, definitely upload your work to Behance. And if you hit the discoverability tab when you're creating a project, use the keyword XD Daily Challenge, and that way we can find your work and feature it live on the show. So yesterday we prototyped stories for a social networking app, so I'm gonna showcase a few submissions. So the first submission is from Cloud. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Really great presentation. I love the way you set up your Behance project. And love the header area and the gradient that you used. Super social, you named it. That's really cool. Love the way you designed the stories. You even added an icon here. That's really great. Great job. Oops. All right, so let's go to our second submission. Again, love the way you designed the header area for your project. And oh, cool. You guys got really creative with the header area. And then the stories with the border around it to indicate that it's an active story. I love that. Great, and love the presentation of the app. Oh, here's a prototype. Let's see it. So you click the story, it goes into the different stories. Awesome. And if I hit the X, it goes back to the home page. Great job. This looks so good. All right. Awesome. And this was from Antonio. All right, so our third is by Neslihan. Again, my apologies if I'm not saying it correctly, but I really like the way you set up your project. Really good. Nice. Love the colors you used. And you even included a color palette. Great job. Great. So yes, definitely encourage you to keep posting your designs at the end of each show. That way we can feature yours next. Yeah, great job. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into day number 2's creative challenge. So today we'll be prototyping a customer satisfaction survey experience in a pop-up window. All right, so if you've downloaded the template for today's challenge, you'll see we have 3 screens already designed. So we're just gonna modify them and prototype them so it creates that pop-up experience for our survey. So the first thing we're gonna do, and here I have my design outline, we're gonna design a survey button. So I'm going to hit E on my keyboard to grab the ellipses tool. And I'm just gonna draw a circle. I think this is a good size. So I'm gonna remove the border. And I'm going to color it this orange color, and I got this color from one of the suggested color schemes. All right. So I grabbed a feedback icon and I put it in my symbols library, and I got this icon from Adobe Stock, so I'm just gonna drag and drop it onto our object here. And I'm just gonna align it to the center, like that. So that's the icon. So now I'm just gonna go and modify our survey question area. So you can leave it like this, but I think we can, modify it a little more to make it a little more interesting. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to select the artboard, and I'm gonna kind of extend the artboard out. That way the drop shadow that's on this rectangular object, that way we make sure that it shows when we're prototyping it. So I'm also going to select the rectangle. And if you just select it, like if you just click it once and you try to resize it, everything is going to resize, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm going to double click it. And that way I'm only selecting the rectangle object. That way I can resize it, and then the text is going to keep its size. So I'm just going to decrease it slightly. And I'm also going to color it orange, just to keep the theme. And now I'm just going to shrink this text box down a little bit, like so. And I'm also going to select our yes and no buttons. Actually, let me just select the yes button and move it over slightly. Oops. Okay. So now I'm just going to select this white divider, and I'm going to move it down a little more. And let me move this here. So now I'm going to hit E on my keyboard to grab the ellipses tool once more, and I'm going to draw a circle. So basically, I am turning this survey question into kind of a message pop-up or a chat bubble, so to speak. So we're going to put a photo into this object here. So I'm just going to adjust this a little more. So again, I have photos from Diverse UI, so I'm just going to open my folder with those photos. And we're in day 2, and I am going to choose this photo right here, and I'm going to drag and drop it into our shape like that. And I'm going to remove the border. I think I'm going to shrink it down just a little more. All right. So to kind of give this a speech bubble look, I'm going to select the rectangular shape once more. And as you can see, there's anchor points that are being displayed when you click or direct select the object. So I'm going to add a few more anchor points. So as you can see, when I hover over the edge here, the pen tool appears. So I'm going to add an anchor here, here, and at the end. So I added 3 anchor points, and I'm going to drag down the middle anchor point. And it has that tip that kind of creates that speech bubble look. So again, I'm just gonna adjust it some more. Like so. There. And of course, I am going to drag out the artboard because we don't want that to be cut off. Let me move this a little more. Okay, so that's our survey question pop-up. All right, and I will be prototyping this later on, and you'll see how everything comes together. But right now we've designed our survey button, and we also modified our survey question pop-up. So now let's move over to our questionnaire. So again, right off the bat, we have this questionnaire, but I think I'm gonna modify it just a little more to make it a little more interesting, I guess. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some colors. So I'm going to add our orange again. And I am going to display the questions side by side. So to do that, I'm going to grab our second question, move it over here. I'm gonna put this here. And I'm going to shrink down the text box for our first question. So it's the on a scale to 1 to 5 question that I'm shrinking down. So now I'm going to select the question, and I'm going to hit Command D on my keyboard to duplicate it. And then I'm going to just write question number 1. So we have a heading. And I'm going to apply this character style here. And now our question heading is bold and larger. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna move over to our second question, and I'm gonna shrink down the text box because we do not need it to be that long. And I'm just adjusting it. All right, so now I'm just going to duplicate the heading for our first question. I'm going to drag it over to the second question. And I'm going to update the text to say question number 2. All right, so just to emphasize the different sides for each question, I'm going to hit L on my keyboard to grab the line tool. And I'm going to add a dividing line. So we're going to increase the size to 3. And I'm going to add a dash, maybe 10. Let's see what that looks like. I think that looks really great. And the gap is going to be 10. So I'm going to color it white by selecting the color in the Assets panel. There we go. I think this looks okay. Just gonna slightly adjust it. All right, so now I am going to duplicate this screen. And now we're going to, fill in the ratings. So I'm going to select the stars, and as you can see, it's in a repeat grid. So to color in the ratings, I'm going to press I'm going to select the stars, and I'm going to press Command D to duplicate it. And I'm going to color it blue. And then I'm going to drag the handle down to, let's say 4 stars. We had a good experience on this site. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this screen now. And we're going to highlight this first option in question number 2. So I'm going to hit R on my keyboard to grab the rectangle tool. And I'm going to draw a rectangle, remove its fill, and let's increase its size to 3. And I'm just going to grab the eyedropper tool and grab the blue from our rating. And I'm going to give the rectangle a border radius of 20 to round it. All right. So now I'm going to go to our final thank you screen, and I'm just going to color it orange. All right, so that wraps up our design portion for our customer satisfaction survey experience. So how's everyone doing so far? Everyone's following along, great. Okay, so I'm gonna move over to prototype mode, and we're gonna prototype this UI. So first things first, I'm going to select our survey button, and I'm gonna wire it to our survey question pop-up. And to make this a pop-up, I'm going to hit overlay here, and I'm gonna leave transition to slide up, easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. And I'm gonna position it just above our survey button, like so. There we go. So now when we hit yes, because we want to complete this survey, I'm going to wire this button in our survey question to our survey questionnaire screen. So I'm going to leave transition to transition. We're not doing an overlay. And I'm going to set transition to dissolve, leave easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. So on this first screen for our survey questionnaire, I'm going to select the ratings, the stars, and I'm going to wire it to our second screen where we have our stars filled out. And I'm going to set transition to dissolve, easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. And on the screen where we have just our stars filled out, I'm also going to select the yes, of course, in our questionnaire in question number 2. And I'm going to wire it to our artboard where we've drawn the rectangle around the question to indicate that we selected this option. So I'm going to set transition to dissolve, easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. And lastly, because that's all the questions that we're going to be completing, I'm going to select the submit button, and I'm going to wire it to our final thank you screen. And again, we're going to set transition to dissolve, easing to ease out, and duration to 0.2 seconds. Okay, so we're going to preview this. So I'm just going to hit the desktop preview icon, and let's see how this works. So I'm going to hit the feedback icon, and then it pops up. Great. So what happens when we press yes, please? Great. So it goes to our survey questionnaire. I'm going to rate this 4 stars, and I would recommend Prism to a friend. So I'm going to submit it. Thank you. Yay. This looks really good. All right, so this, I guess, completes the prototyping portion for day number 2. So I'm just going to quickly show you how you can upload this to Behance. So I'm going to go back to design mode, and I'm going to hit shift on my keyboard, and I'm going to select the artboard titles just to select actually, since we have kind of this rogue survey question screen, I think I'm going to show you how you can add an interactive prototype to your Behance project. I think we'll do that instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the share icon here, and I'm going to publish the prototype, and we're going to create a public link. So this icon here, you can click it and it's going to copy an embed code to your clipboard. So I'm just going to head on over to my Behance project. And I already included the day 2 heading. So below, I'm just going to click this icon. And since it's already copied to our keyboard, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to hit embed. And there we go. We have an interactive prototype on our Behance project. So I'm just going to test it out. Great. This looks so cool. So if you're wondering how other users did that, it's so easy. All you need to do is publish the prototype, and then grab the embed code and then just embed it into your Behance project. So I'm going to hit save. And maybe this is your first time tuning in, so definitely you're going to want to make sure that you hit the discoverability tab and add the keyword XD Daily Challenge. That way we can find your work and feature it live on the show. So thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's show. I hope you learned a little more on how to use some really great features in Adobe XD and how to design a really cool prototype. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have a full day today. Just gonna pull up the schedule. So let's see. So from 9, we have live design with Kyle, hosted by Paul. And from 11 to 1, we'll be doing some live UI UX design with Lisa. And at 1, stay tuned to see Jermaine design. So we have a full day packed day today, so be sure to tune in. I'll be over on the Slack channel, so definitely sign up for Slack, and I'll see you there and give you some helpful feedback on today's challenge. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you for day 3 tomorrow. Bye.